The Kia MVP belongs to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander from Oklahoma City Thunder.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is the 2025 NBA MVP. But even with a 68-win season and stats that rival Michael Jordan's peak, many still argue Nikola Jokic was more impactful. How does a player who was by far the best player on a team with the 7th best win percentage in NBA history still face skepticism after winning the award? This doubt is all part of Shai's story. From starting college off the bench to dethroning a 3-time MVP. SGA's story started in Hamilton, Ontario, where in 9th grade he was the star of St. Thomas More's midget basketball team. In Canada, that's basically the equivalent of junior varsity. This wasn't unusual for players that age, unless you had high ambitions to catch the eyes of scouts. For Shai, the setback wasn't just about basketball, it was about perception. In Canada, the basketball pipeline wasn't exactly flowing with talent, at least back then. So most players had to find their way to an American prep school so they could play against better competition and their stats could hold more meaning to NCAA scouts. At just 16 years old, Shai moved to the United States to attend Hamilton Heights Christian Academy in Chattanooga, Tennessee. For a Canadian kid, this was the big move he always needed. It meant playing against tougher competition and the chance to get ranked, leading to more D1 opportunities. At Hamilton Heights, playing against higher caliber athletes, Shai revealed what he could do when the stakes were raised. Shai being able to compete when the stakes are raised is a theme you're gonna see a lot throughout this video. In his senior year, he averaged 18 points per game, raising to 35th in ESPN's top 100 of the class of 2017. But still, he wasn't even the top rated player in his family. His cousin, Nikhil, was 14 spots above him. At this time, he wasn't necessarily seen as a definite NBA player, but major schools were still recruiting him to their rosters. One of these schools being the University of Kentucky, which is arguably one of the most prestigious and storied programs in the NCAA. As a freshman, he wasn't an instant starter. Head coach John Calipari initially brought him off the bench. Shai's play had him quickly progress from 6th man to starting point guard. Again, notice the pattern of Shai stepping up when competition gets harder. If you love to talk basketball as much as I do, hit the subscribe button. This was an up and down season for Kentucky, having 11 losses and suffering through a 4-game losing streak. But Shai managed to be a consistent contributor throughout the season, having a great SEC tournament and also playing well in March Madness. Shai averaged 14.4 points per game, 4.1 rebounds, 5.1 assists, and 1.6 steals per game while playing 37 games for Kentucky. By the end of his freshman year in college, Shai cemented himself as an NBA player, and he was on everyone's draft boards as a first-round pick, with some mock drafts like The Ringer viewing him as a top 8 pick. But earning a spot in the NBA doesn't automatically translate to stardom. So how do we go from getting traded to going toe-to-toe with one of the greatest players of all time for an MVP? That's where things get more interesting. And that's where OKC comes in. But before that, we have to talk about his first year in the NBA. SGA was selected 11th overall by the Charlotte Hornets in the 2018 NBA draft. But he was quickly traded to the Los Angeles Clippers on draft night. This was a Clippers team that just finished 10th in the Western Conference. Their leading scorer was their 6th man in Lou Williams. So the Clippers didn't see Shai as somebody who would come in and save their franchise, but saw him as a promising young point guard who could be a part of their core in the future. In his first year with the Clippers, Shai showed why he belonged on the court. Starting in 73 games, he averaged 10.8 points, 3.3 assists, and 1.2 steals per game, earning him a spot in the NBA's all-rookie second team. But still, after his rookie season, he wasn't seen as somebody who was going to be a future superstar in the league. He showed promise in being an integral part to a young team's core, but for a team that wanted to win now, he didn't really fit in that picture. Then came the summer of 2019. As a part of a blockbuster trade, the Clippers sent him to Oklahoma City Thunder. For many, the trade was exciting for what it gave the Clippers, not because what it sent OKC. When Shai arrived in Oklahoma City, he joined a team in flux. The Thunder weren't expected to compete immediately, but they didn't quite shift into a full rebuilding mode either. They acquired Chris Paul from Houston, an NBA vet and one of the best point guards of all time. Playing alongside Paul turned into an invaluable experience for Shai. I think a lot of people forget how important a vet, especially in the same position, and somebody who's actually playing on the court with you, is integral to the growth of a player. Paul was traded in 2020 and Shai was ready to step into the limelight. Across his first 3 seasons in OKC, his scoring jumped from 19 points per game to over 30. His game expanded in every direction. His ability to break down defenses, hit contested shots, create for others, and make key defensive plays became staples. Shai did more than rise to the occasion. He became the face of the franchise. As the Thunder had 17 first-round picks through 2026, they were able to build around SGA. This allowed them to make the playoffs for the first time in a few seasons last year, finally letting the NBA media see that Shai wasn't just dropping meaningless numbers and he could lead a team to the playoffs and eventually to the championship. But there's still one question. With dominant forces like Giannis, Embiid, and Jokic, could Shai ever get the MVP? That's what we find out right now. And in the 2024-2025 season, Jokic and Shai went head-to-head in an MVP battle. SGA's 2025 season was nothing short of historic, leading OKC to a league-best 68-14 record. Shai posted numbers that immediately inserted him into comparisons with some of the greatest players of all time. The Thunder put together one of the most statistically dominant seasons in recent memory. Their SRS, the simple rating system, which factors in point differentials and schedule strength, was a league-best 12.7. Yet, despite all this, the MVP race wasn't straightforward. Jokic, the centerpiece of the Nuggets, presented one of the most compelling cases for the award. Jokic's advanced metrics continue to lead the league with his player efficiency rating. As a pass-first big man, Jokic's ability to create offense for his teammates while maintaining incredible efficiency made him a unique challenge for any defender. Jokic has the unparalleled ability to anchor Denver's system. He's one of those players whose impact goes way past the score sheet, even though on the score sheet he's almost averaging a 30-point triple-double. The debate about who deserves MVP is never just about numbers. Narratives often sway opinions in award voting, and this race was no different. The voting is usually split in 2 groups: people who vote for the best player on the best team, and then people who vote for who they just think is the best player no matter the team's record. Jokic's team had 18 less wins than Shai's team. But the thing is, a 3-time MVP in Jokic has raised his game to yet another level, and that's a hard thing to overlook. SGA's MVP season wasn't just about the numbers, it was a statement. He was by far the best player on the team with the best record. He proved it in the regular season, and then he proved it again in the playoffs, beating Jokic. So you can keep on saying Jokic deserved the MVP, but the truth is, Shai also did, and him winning just cements his journey from playing junior varsity to MVP of the NBA.